host, Loren Meadows of GatorBaitMedia.com, with the best shoe game in the Gator media. And tonight, we do it again with a great show. We'll be joined by Rob Browne of SEC Sidelines, Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel, and then our intern, Lucas Messmore, will join us a little bit at the end to kind of break down what's going on with the Florida Gators. The big news is DJ Lagway has entered the transfer portal, will be leaving Florida after 2 seasons. Aaron Philo of Georgia Tech is also in the portal. Could he be the next Florida quarterback? What are the destinations for DJ? What do we think? And who could join the quarterback room at Florida? And what's next? What are the next dominoes to fall? The Sidelines Live team would like to thank our sponsors, Meldon Law and Titan MRI and Imaging. Subscribe to the Lowdown with Loren Meadows on YouTube and Facebook, as well as our partner shows on the Sidelines Live Network, including the Buddy Martin Show, SEC Sidelines, and Scarborough Knows. Follow yours truly on Instagram at Ohio Gator for Life, and X at Real Ohio Gator, and TikTok at Real Ohio Gator as well. We're also going to have some playoff predictions for you. We're going to get into it, no doubt. And with that, we bring in my man, Rob Browne, super producer. Brendan Martin wants to get in on this. So how you guys doing tonight?
Excellent. Ready to go.
All right, sir.
All right. I want to get something off my chest real quick. And y'all know how I am. I kind of taken into getting into these rants. But I want to address something. Obviously, the news of DJ Lagway, transferring away from Florida. And I want to talk about something that happened after the LSU game. And I thought it was a disservice to the young man. I thought it was a disservice to his family. And I have always known DJ Lagway to hold himself with the utmost class. Great guy, always good with the fans, always willing to take a picture, always willing to step up to the podium for those of us in the media and own up to his mistakes. And I find it interesting that after a 5-interception performance, a former player went on several shows to double down on the fact that DJ Lagway was not liked in the Florida locker room based on NIL or other things, preferential treatment, things like that. I never saw that. And when you start to talk about a young man taking advantage of a situation, being a quarterback of one of the premier programs in the country, I think that only talks about him and you're insulting him, but to me, you insulting mama and daddy and the village around you. And I thought that was unfair. I thought it was kind of reckless for those that had this particular person on the show to talk about it. And now that DJ Lagway is gone, I want to remind people that we were all on the Lagway bandwagon. And it wasn't just because he could throw the ball 70 yards. He was a great kid. And I found it interesting that none of that came out when he was throwing 3 touchdown passes against Ole Miss or whatever he did, or against Kentucky, or when he threw for 300 yards against Sanford. But when he threw the 5 picks against LSU, now we're talking about what a locker room distraction he is. I thought it was a reach. I don't know where that information came from. Nothing I saw from DJ Lagway showed problem in the locker room. You go to a softball game, there's Austin Barber around him, Jake Slaughter standing there around him, Derek Wingo. They all hanging out, buddying up. That's not a guy that's a distraction. So I kind of bit my tongue because I didn't want to get into something, but he's gone now. And I thought it was, we'll get into the play. If you want to talk about the player, but so many times, Rob, we talk about the player and then we filter it in as a person. I remember Felipe Franks struggled at quarterback at Florida, but he was not a bad dude. But you would hear people talk about him like he was some scrub type of person instead of a player. And to note, I think Felipe Franks is still in the NFL somewhere, on a practice squad or things like that. But I caution to say, hey, we all love DJ Lagway. But when I see things like, to me, you might say, hey, good for him, wish him best, maybe best for both parties. But words like good riddance, see you later, have fun at Prairie View A&M, things like that. I think that's a reach to me. And I don't understand, Rob, where we get into the player may not be playing the way that we think he should, but then we dive into or create character narratives that exist. I never understand that. There are some very good players that are really good people, and there's some good players that aren't very good people, and there's some bad players that are really good people. But I needed to say that because the young man was never nothing but gracious to me, most of the people in the media, I would assume. And every time I saw him, met his family, mom, dad, salt to the earth kind of people. Hung out with his dad at the Final Four. Really good dude. So I wish DJ Lagway the best. We'll talk about where we think he might go, but we don't have to linger on it too much, Rob. But just I don't understand where we get that as fans sometimes.
Well, you first off, people don't know him. You do. Brendan does. Buddy does. When Bo Nix left Auburn, went to Oregon. I mean, what are you going to say? I don't blame him. I even said that. Sometimes it's just I don't like the portal. I don't like guys that quit or leave, or whatever. In this case, Billy Napier brought in DJ. Everything they're gone now. Jon Sumrall is a different coach. He runs a different kind of offense. But if the people weren't saying that kind of stuff before and they're saying it now, it's just sour grapes. And quite frankly, people that make these kind of nasty comments on social media, you remember when Pat Dye was asked one time, is Harvey Updike typical of all Alabama fans? And he said, no. He goes, he's typical of somebody with a miserable life. It's a lot of people who have a miserable life that make these kind of comments. I can go by what you said and other people that have been around DJ the last couple of years, and you like for him to have done better and all, but he got hurt. A lot of things happen. But it's typically people who they're mad and maybe they get a little too into this stuff and live vicariously through these guys. Now, look, they're getting paid money, and that does make it easier to criticize them. But in the case of DJ Lagway, for 2 years, I've been on this show. I've never heard anybody come on here and say he was a bad guy and bad vibes in the locker room or any of that kind of stuff. This is just bitterness. People are mad. You know what? Move on. And the classy thing to do is wish him nothing but the best. That's
right. And my thing was, this was a former player.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, the program was good to you, and why you would single out this young man in this situation when he was at his lowest. Yeah. That was the lowest he was and maybe will ever be as a college football. It can't get no worse than throwing 5 interceptions. I mean, in this day and age where you really can't put your paws on receivers and things like that, you throw 5 is tough. And he stepped up. He looked everybody in the eye. And I just thought I was like, why now? And what is the motive? So, like we said, we're gonna let the transfer or whatever of DJ Lagway. We're gonna talk about maybe landing spots and things like that. But Rob, the Gators now have basically Tramel Jones Jr. is the I guess the leader in the clubhouse. Aaron Philo, who was the backup quarterback to Haynes King, has entered the transfer portal. He was rated as a 3-star prospect by Rivals, 3rd in Georgia high school history with 159 touchdown passes and 56 touchdown passes as a senior. I think he broke the record held previously by Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback and Clemson great Trevor Lawrence with 13,922 yards passing, a dynamic runner. I'm shocked he had 6'2", 220. I don't know what made him a 3-star, but got a lot of good information coming out of Georgia Tech that he was going to be the heir apparent, was going to be the next best thing. Buster Faulkner has now come to Florida as the offensive coordinator, and all thoughts would be that this young man could be in line to follow him here to Gainesville. Familiarity with the offense, and somebody that I think in limited action, I think he was 2 for 2. I think two interceptions, 2 touchdown passes, but obviously in limited action. But somebody who, really good size, dynamic runner. So somebody that could really fit in that offense. Where I saw Haynes King was the only quarterback in the country to average 250 yards passing and 80 yards rushing. So it's an offense that likes the quarterback to do his thing and get after it in the run game as well. So
yeah, Georgia Tech staff has been rated. Lost their offensive line coach. I think he's going to Nebraska. Man, that and Buster Faulkner, he's highly rated. I don't know if he's elite yet, but he's going to have elite talent at Florida, and that can make you look a lot better in a hurry. You want to have 3 quarterbacks. You always want to have them. But I tell you a trend that I'm seeing is you've got the closer your locker room is, the closer that team is, the harder you work them, they're going to grow closer as a team. It's a lot harder to leave guys you've been through hell with, your friends, your brothers. Very difficult to do that. How many times have you stayed in a job that you knew you should have moved on, but you just love the people you work with?
Last year, or 2 years ago.
Yeah, there you go. But see what I'm saying? It's hard to leave the people you love. And I know money kicks in and all that kind of stuff. Guys, they pay professional athletes money too. What I think is going to happen is you're going to start seeing the data is going to come out from the NFL. When you transfer, after you transfer the second and third time, your graduation rate just plummets if you ever graduate. And the NFL, that is a red flag to GMs, player personnel directors, owners, managers, and people. It's a red flag. How you play in a meaningless bowl game can move your draft stock up exponentially too. If you're diving for balls and making tackles and you're a team player and you're going, look, yeah, I could sit out, think about my pro career, but I bled with these guys around me. I'm going to battle with them one more time, because when you come back for those team reunions years later, they're meaningless if you quit on your teammates. I'm sorry. Skipping a bowl game, BS.
Yeah.
Florida gives you a scholarship, and you get in that Gator network. 500,000 living alumni with a school with the academic credentials and power of Florida. Man, I'd spend every moment I had waking wearing that Florida jersey. And I'm telling you, as a rival, I just know what it means. It's too powerful a brand. Don't walk away till you're done, till you're absolutely out of gas, and then crawl.
Right. Well, I think, we talk about a guy like Aaron Philo, Nat Blaylock chimed in, Will Griffin out of, I'm not sure, out of Tampa, not particularly, I can't remember the high school right off. Edgar will be able to tell us here in a minute. But you talk about Tramel Jones. I don't know if we want to go to true freshman and Will Griffin unless he wins. You can win the job at Florida. You're pretty good. Darian Mensah has been mentioned, but also, could be going to the NFL, the Duke quarterback who left Tulane. So he has some familiarity with Sumrall. Brendan, any thoughts on Tampa Jesuit? Will Griffin. Which is actually, that's also I think the high school of, what's the kid? Played running back for Davis. Davis that was here a couple years ago, still playing for the Cowboys. But Brendan, any thoughts on DJ, the quarterback situation? We'll talk about where we think he'll go here in a minute before we bring Edgar on. But any thoughts? You muted.
Well, it's perplexing. It's interesting to see,
Malik Davis. There you go. Thanks, Sean. I'm losing it today. I'm 52 years old, I guess.
Come on, man.
I'm losing it. Yeah.
I feel like it's it's sad to see this happen so quickly. It just makes me wonder what happened, right? There's a lot of speculation from CBS Sports and these things were happening in a meeting, and there was a challenge, and obviously there was a different direction. I don't know. I just don't know how you go from being DJ Lagway to in the portal and that quickly. But then again, I've had turning a ship is hard, right? And Florida's a ship, And I've worked for big entities, and I've had to do some sort of stuff like that in the past in my career, especially big box TV and all that stuff. And you got to make decisions when you come in, and they got to be clear and concise. You got to have a plan, and you got to have your guys. I think as sad as I am for DJ, I don't think Sumrall is responsible for the comments by any means that's come out by former players. I don't think that's ever appropriate. But I
Well,
think
that was before. That was
yeah.
while Billy was still coaching.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah, that's what I
yeah,
mean. I remember
yeah,
that, but I'm just
yeah.
saying that, like, you alluded to that in the beginning, and so I don't want it. The young man is a great guy. He had Gator in his heart. He had just recently come out and said he wanted, he wasn't going anywhere. So I guess I'm a little confused, but at the same time, I really like Sumrall's way.
Yeah.
And I like the way that he's going about doing business, and I think in a lot of ways, if he wasn't going to be a work for him, he cut him out early, if that's what happened. But he gave an opportunity to go be somewhere else if that's what he wanted to do. And I think that's fair. And I think that if you're going to make that decision, you make it early, you cut it off, and you don't linger. Like in these decisions, look what happened to Lane Kiffin and the lingering decision and things like that. That to me is unfair.
Right.
And, and I feel like that was great. And I applaud anybody that wants to come in and have a vision. Florida certainly needs it. And DJ did not play great last year.
Right.
So, and I believe that was bad development. I believe Billy suffered developing good quarterbacks. I think we talked about with AR and, years ago. So, here we are. And I think at least I'm glad to know that we're on a path. People are getting hired. Offensive coordinators are coming in. Real football's happening. And not this like version of it. So that's my take on it.
No, and I agree. I think that, like you said, get it out the way, give him an opportunity to get the best shot to go somewhere else and be in school, be ready to go and get everything going. And, and then to, just have an opportunity to get himself settled and give Florida opportunity to go in a different direction. I would assume, and Edgar will tell us here in a minute, what maybe if he knows some of the inside information on the meeting and maybe the talks between the two parties, and maybe there was going to be an open competition, and maybe they said, hey, we're going to bring someone in or things like that. Mensa, I guess, is going to stay at Duke, which that's fine, but there's a lot of guys out there that I'm sure would love to be the starting quarterback at Florida. So this thing is not fluid yet. And like I said, Edgar will shed light on that. But also, before we get to that, bring Edgar on, I want to talk about the Franz Beard, Buddy Martin, and Carlton Reese have they wrote a book called The Golden Season. Basically highlights the Florida Gators run to the national title in basketball, and I wanted to promote a couple things. Franz Beard, the author, will be signing copies tomorrow at Cogent Bank in downtown Ocala from 11 to 2, and in Gainesville at Campus USA Credit Union, Southwest 1900 Southwest 34th Street in the lobby in Gainesville from 3 to 5. So you can go there, get your book signed either in Ocala as well as in here in Gainesville at Campus USA or Campus USA Credit Union there on 34th. And, go get your book signed, then come over and watch the Florida Gator women play against Florida A&M. And then we got the men after that. So men will be playing as well. So get your doubleheader in, get you a book, and then you can go see Ty Golden get after it. So, definitely could be a big day. Go get you a book, go read, and then kind of go from there. So should be a big book signing coming to Ocala. Like I said, tomorrow at Cogent Bank in downtown Ocala from 11 to 2. And in Gainesville from 3 to 5 at Campus USA Credit Union, 1900 34th Street in Gainesville. And with that, we bring in Edgar Thompson, who will certainly be at the game tomorrow with the men's basketball team playing St. Francis. So we got doubleheader, got the Florida A&M Lady Rattlers coming to town, and then we got St. Francis. Is that the St. Francis in PA? Edgar, do you know?
The 362nd ranked team in the country.
Okay.
I think Ollie's going to get his field goal finally.
Okay, good. That'll be awesome. So appreciate you joining us, Edgar. Let's get right to it. We talked about DJ Lagway and the transfer. Other guys, KD Daniels, notable name, Jordan Castell. I've been kind of hard on Castell. This is what we talk about, player and the person. Love the person. Didn't know if he was the best safety at Florida, but, I wish those young men well because they're all great people. But take us inside if if you've heard anything about, DJ Lagway was a lot of people thought he would stick around and maybe change a system, things like that would help him out, but chose to transfer. Do we have any information on what occurred, or was it just, hey, I need to take a deep breath, maybe go somewhere else, change the scenery, different system, and just try to see what I can do elsewhere?
I don't have tremendous inside information, and I mean these are pretty tight circle conversations. So stuff that comes out, it's like telephone.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third, fourth parties. I mean, what's really completely true? Who has what agenda that's telling you what? But bottom line is DJ Lagway was going to have to compete for a job, which wasn't the case entering last offseason. But unlike last offseason too, he was going to enter the offseason healthy, because I don't think he's going to need shoulder surgery, which might have been advisable at the end of last season, and they put it off. And it seems like he's gotten to the other side of that. And he seems healthier. So he might have had a healthy, productive, off season in terms of conditioning, training, working on these shaky fundamentals that became more and more evident as the season went on, and gotten back his confidence. I mean, the kid was spinning. He wasn't relaxed. Billy Gonzalez, the interim coach, multiple times referenced, I just want him to relax.
Mm-hmm.
And so clearly he was putting a lot of pressure. The expectations were immense. I don't think Billy Napier did a good job managing those. In fact, he might have elevated them by continuing to tell us that he was okay and on track when he really wasn't at any point healthy. And so he comes in, third team All-SEC, Heisman possibility, and it just didn't go well. And he, we saw what happened. He lost confidence. He had a very, very tough season, total sophomore slump, definition of it. Led the SEC with 14 interceptions against only 16 touchdowns. His rating a year ago was second to Jackson Dart in the league. And this year it was second above Jackson Arnold at the bottom of the league. Yeah. So just a complete reversal. I think that he knew he was going to have to compete, but he was determined. He was healthy in his mind, and I think in medical people's minds, and he was ready to get after it. And he wanted to be a Gator and was planning to work toward that goal, but they weren't going to pay him. First of all, the price tag was going to come down. It was a high one last year. It wasn't going to be that this year. And, guys like Tramel Jones, Will Griffin, the new recruit out of Tampa Jesuit, and presumably a transfer, if not two, probably one, you got to think, potentially two, would come in and challenge him, and you don't have a spring portal. So what if you're DJ Lagway, your calculations got to be, what if it doesn't go my way? What do you, you're going into your junior season, you have NFL, dreams and ambitions. You can't do that,
Right.
Limited action as you're in a junior year, and you want to make what you think you should make, which is probably what you were making.
Right.
So there was a lot of factors, and there might have been some questions about how he approached, things last season. I don't know. What did we hear? Jon Sumrall might ask him, what are you about? Maybe there's some questions about his, and just in general, maybe a general question, but maybe, is it all football for you? Are you consumed with football? Well, made a lot of commercials and made a lot of money. And I'm not saying that he put football in the back burner at all, but you look at that and you're like, where was the focus? And even if unless you're in a sling, you can work on your footwork. Even if you're in a sling, you can watch film and improve. And the product that DJ put out last season would have given anyone pause. Do I want to take this on a project with a pretty hefty price tag, or is it just best for both parties to move on?
All right. And Rob, we don't want to, like you said, I mean, we don't, he's leaving. We could talk about where we think he might go. But I guess my question is this a young man who his ceiling is still high, or would it be best that he maybe looks at a 1AA or a group of, I guess they call it group of 5, group of 4 type school? Or is this somebody you think that if the right coach with the right system, I always thought I talked to Coach Spurrier actually at the Sumrall press conference, and I asked him, I said, Coach, do you think it's, him, or is it the system, what they were doing offensively? And he said, well, probably a little bit of both. So if you can get the system right and hopefully get him right, is this somebody that can reclaim themselves at a Power 5 school?
Well, first off, let me say Edgar's dead right. I mean, the market's going to pay you what you're worth. If I made $1 million last year and the next year my production fell 60% and I only made $400,000, that's what I'm going to get paid. And these kids have got to accept reality that this is the free market. Okay. You're going to get what you're worth. You look at the sorry ass performance that he gave this year. He got hurt. Whatever. Edgar's right. I'm not trying to rip the kid up. I just got through saying a lot of the comments made by people that don't know him. Edgar, you do. You're a great sports writer. And you are there. I hear you on Buddy's show all the time. And Kevin Rockaway, a lot of great writers. Florida's always had more media covering the Gators than any school in the SEC. Buddy talked about the days there were 35 or 40 papers covering them. But I think when it comes to these quarterbacks,
it's like 3 now, but yes.
Yeah, I know. But
it used to be like 20-something.
Yeah, I miss those days. And reading's like lifting weights with your brain. I'll say this about a quarterback or any player. If a dog will bite, he'll do it when he's a pup. This is what DJ Lagway is, what we've seen out of him, whether he was hurt or whatever last year. Edgar's right. What are you doing when you're hurt? Okay, are you going and watching tape? Are you doing every little thing you can? Money clouds judgment. I do it in my financial practice. No one ever gives 18 to 22-year-olds any money. They'll be coked up, strung out. They'll have stripper. I mean, it's a disaster. And you think there's not going to be any problem? Edgar's right. And it's not just DJ, it's everybody. Here's some stats. 13 of the 20 players, quarterbacks that went to the Elite 11 camp a couple of years ago, they've already transferred. The top 5 quarterbacks in the class of 24 quarterbacks, they've already transferred. Prior to the portal, here's another stat. 42% of quarterbacks that signed with the school finished their career at another school. That's been going on forever. But I do think that what Steve Spurrier said is also right. It's a little bit of both. But if he transfers down, his chance of starting in the NFL is reduced by probably 7 times greater. He won't ever play much, if ever, in the NFL. The NFL looks at that. When you go down, it's not good at all. So I hope he lands in a good spot.
Edgar?
Well, yeah, and I think Rob makes a point. I'll credit DJ. Kept his nose clean.
Yeah.
Maintained incredible comport in front of the media. Came and, took whatever we had for him. 5 interception performance, he's there. 61-yard performance in Miami, he's there. He spoke every week, tried to own it, and vowed to do better, even if it didn't always turn out that way. But yeah, I mean, handling that kind of money and that kind of exposure at that age, my Lord. I mean, I would have been off the rails. I mean, I would argue I've been off the rails recently. The point being, it's tough. And the young man did, I think, a pretty good job, acquitted himself well, in front of on a really big stage. Just didn't play as well as he'd hoped and as well as he could. And I put some of that look on Billy Napier and Ryan O'Hara. I mean, they have to take some of that. And I put some on DJ's camp too, probably, because maybe he needed a surgery. But a lot of people are in control of this stuff that aren't even on the medical staff at UF anymore. You know, people are involved because there's interest, you know, that weren't just, it's not just within the program now. There's a lot of other factors that go on. Guys have their own coach, quarterback coach, their own doctor, you know, their own this, their own that. And it's become, you know, extremely complicated to really manage all of it. I don't wish it on any coach. I mean, you know, Dave Caldwell, the new general manager, I was told by someone with an extensive NFL background, they think Dave's good. He's young. He learned a lot with the Eagles. A lot of people point to Jacksonville, but 5 years with the Eagles was kind of like the Nick Saban reclamation kind of school, right?
Right.
And they think they're like, as good as I think he is, he doesn't know what he's getting himself into in terms of the sheer volume of deals, the sheer volume of people you're dealing with each and every deal. The NFL, you're doing like 8-10 free agent deals a year, maybe in a busy. I mean, now it's like, it's always free agency. It's always going. Right. And they're coming from other schools at you, and they're leaving too. And it's a lot to figure out. So I think DJ's going to end up at a Power 4 school. I mean, if you saw Pete Nako's reported, Baylor, which makes sense. His dad went there. Miami. Apparently, he might even be visiting Miami this weekend or something, which is bizarre because they're playing at A&M. I don't really get that one. And so that might be confused, but that was out there. And then the other one, LSU. Now, I think Trinidad Chambliss, who reportedly is going to enter the portal, will end up there. But, or, I mean, you're shaking your head, Rob. You don't think he'll end up?
No. I'm just saying, I'm right here in Memphis, and it's just the Ole Miss thing. No, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Okay. I just think it kind of blows my mind what's happening. With Ole Miss, and I don't know, where's Austin Simmons? Where did you hear he's going?
I don't know, but can you imagine though? Let's say Chambliss ends up. I'm not even sure where he's from. Is he Texas kid?
Detroit. I think it's Detroit. Yeah, suburban Detroit kid.
Oh, let's say he ends up, you know, in the Big Ten, and let's say Austin Simmons stays at Ole Miss, and DJ somehow ends up with Lane Kiffin. Can you imagine that? You don't get Kiffin, and your quarterback goes there and turns into a I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that would be that'd be worst case. Oh, yeah. I mean, DJ, look, he's a product of the system on some level. Let's think about this, guys. Do you think Kyle Trask would have stuck it out? Maybe. He was a student, and I mean, like, he was a serious student, not just football player. And he got his master's the year he set the record for touchdown passes. He's got a master's that year. Felipe Franks, would he have stuck around? I mean, maybe you didn't want him to, but 2018, he played pretty well the second half of that season, 10-win team. Let's think of some other guys. LaMichael Pirine, Jordan Scarlett, one of them would have left. They both were pretty productive guys. I'm not saying these were great teams, but they're pretty good teams. People would have taken those teams now.
Right. Well, you had Malik Davis was in that backfield too.
Well, Ja'Kai Polite was a redshirt junior who had like 11 or 12 sacks and 8 forced fumbles. He would have been long gone. Yeah. And I'm not saying these guys were like memorable guys we'll be talking about for years, but they were good players for teams that won 10, 11 games, which Gator fans would kill for now, and would have been in playoffs if it had been 12 teams back then.
Right.
They could have been at playoff teams. And those guys, bunches of those guys would have gone. So it's just really hard to get my mind around the way the sport has gone. Forget the money aspect, just the movement of it, the lack of like continuity and loyalty really is just kind of like mind-blowing. Forget the money involved.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a guy, I mean, crazy, like Ferris State quarterback, Ole Miss, now maybe the LSU. I mean, it's just a lot going around. And for me, I literally just wait till everything settles, and then in August I worry about, okay, who's where, who's doing what, because like you said, Edgar, I mean, it's people are everywhere, man. And
well, you can do it in the spring now, which is the good news,
right?
Because I didn't bring that up, or I tried to. DJ had to leave. Did I say this?
Yeah, you did. There's no spring portal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Look, I've talked so much about this. I did my own pod, interviews, writing.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I'm behind. We're all behind as we speak. Someone entered the portal probably as this conversation.
Oh yeah, people, yeah. Listeners, if somebody did, let us know. But and we're gonna get to maybe where Florida goes next, or names or two, or is it, what is the situation there? But we want to talk about the good folks at Meldon Law, the only official law firm of the Florida Gators, proven and skilled lawyers since 1971. Obviously, Edgar, did you get a championship ring? Did they give those out to the media? Did you get one for the Merrimack game?
Oh, you know what? So that game, is November 21, and
the night before Tennessee, I think.
There was some breaking news.
Okay.
That I had to tighten up.
Okay.
Oh, it was all about the job. It was job stuff. It was
Lane Kiffin and all that.
Yeah. So I was writing. Didn't leave my house. I live close.
Okay.
Get there at like 6:55. No parking, and I pull up, and the woman's like, "We thought the game was at 8, and we didn't get here till 6, and the parking lot was full." And it's like, so I looked for parking. I went even down to I didn't have a park. I couldn't get anywhere. Right. So I just went home. Yeah. And so I didn't get my ring, but Denver said he was going to grab me one. Are they cool? Okay. You got yours?
Yeah, pretty. No, I don't have it on. It's over there in the corner, but it's pretty nice. It's a nice ring, nice replica ring. People at Meldon Law did a great job. I mean, 10,000 of them, Edgar. I mean, how about that? And you talk about setting the standard. That's the standard for colleges now. As your team wins the title, you got to give out replica rings. So they definitely raised the bar. What's that?
Didn't a bunch of them end up on eBay?
Oh, for $300-400, and I know what they cost.
Kind of cheapens the whole thing a little bit to me, but I don't know. I mean, I can see both sides. I don't want to be like a curmudgeon about it.
Get off my lawn, guy.
People enjoyed it, and
it was
their kid or nephew or whatever. Be a good Christmas present, not to go on eBay. I mean, come on.
Right? Yeah. No, I would never do that. And I mean, it's a nice conversation piece when people come in and. We're gonna have some company this weekend, so I got a young buck. He'll get a kick out of it. But yeah, it was cool. And like I said, the just kind of back to Meldon Law, just the good things they keep doing for the community. The people at the University of Florida and surrounding areas. I mean, all types of locations down in the South Florida. Now they had Ty Golden down there for a talk earlier this year. So just Meldon Law. They won't back down. So definitely appreciate the good folks at Meldon Law for all their support, been with us from the beginning. So Edgar, is there with the most important position in sports kind of unresolved? I mean, it's early right now, but what does it say? Is it a, like, not a knock per se, but is it concerning, or do you think things will kind of work themselves out as the playoff games finish and things like that? And Florida will have somebody, because as well as I do, if things don't go well and they're going to say, well, we should have kept, who or whatever, is the feeling that Florida is going to go after somebody who can come in, win games at a high level in a league such as this, somewhere? Or is there, like Shane really likes Tramel Jones. I don't think Will Griffin would be ready to roll as a true freshman. But that they're going to bring somebody in that is, has some meat to them, some meat on the bones that can really lead this football team. Because you got a great group of receivers that you're going to be throwing to, at least. They should. I mean, maybe one or two will lead, but I think they'll still have a good group. You got arguably the best running back in the country coming back. The offensive line, they've got some people there, but, is there going to be somebody that's like maybe the quarterback? I mean, the coach wasn't a high name, but maybe a quarterback could be a name that fans recognize and can get behind.
Well, everybody's talking about Aaron Philo, of course, the Georgia Tech backup. Who was with Buster Faulkner, broke Trevor Lawrence's passing yards mark in Georgia. But he ended up being only like the 47th rated guy and a 3-star recruit who went to Minnesota and flipped. So he certainly doesn't have DJ's credentials entering college, but he's worked in Faulkner's system for 2 years. I think probably has a pretty good relationship with him. You got to think, or if he's in the portal now and this is one of his probably schools he's looking at strongly, he seems like a no-brainer. He seems like the obvious one. Sometimes it is the obvious one. You mentioned Mensa, the relationship with Sumrall from 2 years ago, but he's making like 3-4 million. And you're not going to put that kind of an investment in a guy unless you really believe you're going to put a team around him. Like you're saying, offensive line has some guys. Yeah, it does, but not a lot of experience. Najee Harris, sure.
Mhm.
I mean, Medlock, I think they like him a lot. Zamandela, I think they like, but these guys are green.
Mhm.
And Caden Jones, I thought came on. I like that, but you need a left tackle.
Mhm.
And last year, that was an experienced group that really didn't impress for the most part. Disappointed, in fact. And receivers, you've already lost Mizell. I'm not saying that's a huge loss. He couldn't stay healthy, but he did have some explosiveness. Tank Hawkins is clearly going to leave. I mean, he opted out against Kentucky. I can't imagine they're going to welcome him back.
Mhm.
And, who do you got? Abrams, you got Browne, you got to get Wilson in the fold, which I'm sure they will. Nashawn Montgomery, and maybe there are a couple guys coming in. Davian Gross, or Grossi. Or
Yeah, I like him. He can move.
He looks elite.
Mhm.
So you do have some guys out there. Who's the tight end? I think Hayden Hansen will be back, but man, I mean, I've never seen a 267-yard guy go down as easily as him. I mean, yeah, he needs to get a little tougher after catch.
Is Livingston staying?
He'll stay. And
I'm a Livingston guy.
healthy.
I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching, but
no, I think he's got some talent, but he seemed to be banged up. So there's something there. Amir Jackson's leaving, as we know, but they didn't get a tight end in the class, though. The guy flipped to Washington, the Hawaiian kid. So, I mean, yeah, there's pieces around whoever comes in, but that isn't like, yeah, let's go spend $3 million on Mensa and put him in that offense and we'll win it all. You probably want to develop Tramel Jones. He's probably the early starter entering spring, I guess. I mean, Green himself, and then maybe you got Philo in there, Will Griffin. I mean, Aiden Warner, is he even on scholarship still? I think he is. I mean, will he keep it? I don't know. And you probably got to keep on getting guys there. I don't know. But it is the most important position, and there are a lot of questions around it, which is kind of par for the course entering spring at Florida for many years.
Yeah, and I mean, I think could you like Edgar mentioned, maybe take an NFL route, Rob, where you go left tackle, and then you go left tackle, and then you go maybe a little less at quarterback, but you get a solid guy. Maybe not go for a home run, but you protect him with a really good left tackle. Do that and go that route.
I mean, I would, but what 7-on-7 camps have produced what Matt Stenscombe said on our show is pajama football. Offensive line play is as god awful as I've ever seen it. No one can line up and kick ass and just run the ball down someone's throat like they used to. We have emasculated college football in that respect. So as far as you're going to go find, it's like going to Costco or Kroger to go find you a coach that'll win you 3 national championships the next 6 years. They don't exist. You have to make them what they are. So as far as finding offensive linemen, yeah, but who are they? I mean, look at all the highly rated offense. Look at Alabama, the class they brought in 21. Greatest on paper offensive line class in school history. I don't think any of those guys did anything. That's just that's where we are right now. So try the NFL route. I like what Oklahoma did. They got Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl. He'd been in the NFL 18 years, 6 Super Bowls. He won 4 of them as part of development manager. I get someone like that. And Edgar's right.
Well, they have Dave Caldwell, so
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's just like free agency, 8 to 10 in the NFL, college. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at the portal. thing just right in front of me on my computer. It's like the ticker on Wall Street.
Yeah, I miss Mizell. So many people flying and going. I that was news to me, Edgar. I'm sorry.
Well,
Folks, I miss.
he hasn't been able to stay healthy, but you're
Right.
going to build this offense around Ball, right?
Right.
I mean, this guy, Billy Gonzalez, I know didn't distinguish himself, let's say, as an interim coach. I thought he handled himself pretty well. Some people got irritated. He read stats and did things that weren't as polished. Give the guy a break.
Right.
I thought he handled a tough situation pretty well.
Me
they
too.
played well in a few games. They played awfully in one or two. But, man, he did a couple of things. He stopped all that moving around shifting crap against Georgia. And Kirby Smart even noted, they were harder to prepare for or defend than what we were prepared for because they weren't doing all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept that game close. And then Florida, he kept giving Ball the ball. Now, part of that was Jacoby Jackson being injured and Duke Clark being banged up a bit. But he leaned into the fact you have this elite guy. Feed him.
Right.
And let's hope Sumrall and Buster Faulkner think the same way. This is a 20 to 30 touch guy every Saturday, period. He can handle it. He can catch. He can run. He can run between the tackles, outside the tackles. He's a stud. Yeah. And build the offense around him. And then, as Rob was noting, you get a quarterback. I mean, maybe you were noting, if you can just protect a guy, you don't need to have a Darian Mensah. You maybe can have Trammell, who's still kind of learning on the fly a bit, but has elite receivers. You use in a way where you spread them, create space, easier throws, and then you run Ball, man. It's like you simplify things and you just live that way and see where it gets you. Because it's like they played like in such between the hashes. They played in a box all day.
Oh, it was terrible.
Philly's offense was just brutal, man.
Right. It was awful. With that, let me bring in our intern, so to speak, young buck, trying to learn on the ropes. Lucas. I see you with the background, Lucas. There you go. Say hello to the guys, Lucas.
Hi guys. I'm back home. I'm back home in Virginia. So.
Oh, okay, back home. That's what Edgar. That's your stomping grounds, ain't it?
Richmond. I'm driving back Monday. Where are you?
Right. I'm in Arlington, so DC.
Okay.
So I'm close to. Speaking of the DC, GW just played Florida. So.
Shout out to the DMV, one of my favorite places. But real quick, Lucas, before we kind of get into the playoffs, the last kind of talk about the playoffs, what we think's happening. You keep your ear to the ground. I know you noted, some people staying Miles Graham, which I didn't think was much of a shock. But anybody else?
A news story that a guy who's the leading tackler, a legacy guy, and everyone assumes is coming back. It's like. That's news, okay.
Well, I kind of have like something important I do want to bring up, and you guys, I feel like you guys have like kind of overglanced the topic and haven't actually attacked it. Texas Tech's head coach brought up the schedule when it comes to with the new portal, and I agree with his point. Week 0 is completely irrelevant. You should just have week 1 start that week, so then it allows multiple scheduling conflicts. I don't know. It has to do with TV revenue, probably, like at the end of the day. But his point was very on like point when it comes to the NIL system. The way the NFL is structured, you have a structured offseason, and Nick Saban has also said this on College Game Day. And I agree with him.
Well, Sumrall said it.
Yeah, and Sumrall said it.
Press conference. He's like, we have a football season, and then you actually do all the player movement. And then you have a football seaon.
The reason why I say that, because Sumrall's a class act. Sumrall's a class act, and I'll make this quick. Sumrall's a class act when it comes to like the way he's leaving. But the way Kiffin left was messy, and I think we can all agree.
Oh, sure.
I bring this up because there's no protection for the players because there's no set off season. I believe what the way Texas Tech brought up, and I don't know if the viewers have seen that press conference. What he said was, Week 0 is your week 1. The season ends around Thanksgiving, and then you would have the first round playoffs last week of November, first week of December.
Yeah.
So that way the season will end before the winter portal. So then all these playoff teams have a chance to have a fair shot in restructuring their team. which is a major issue most athletic directors have brought up.
Yeah.
From what I've been
the
reading.
calendar's a mess.
Yeah, we can all agree. Yeah, it's I mean, absolutely. And I appreciate you bringing that up, Lucas, because I didn't see, and I mean, I'm sure the Texas Tech, with all that money they got flowing right now, Rob, that they want to get in on that. But speaking of Texas Tech, we're going to see if Brendan can bring up the playoff bracket for us before we get you guys out of here, just to talk about it. It's I'm a big fan of the bowl, so I was always one of those people that January 1st, I went out all night on the New Year's Eve, but then I got up real early to get ready for New Year's Day so I could watch football. Back then, I'd have my 2 TVs and everything, so I'm pretty excited about the matchups. We got those, Brendan, or you want me to grab them? But the college football playoff this weekend, some interesting matchups. I'll start. Anybody give James Madison a chance at all?
I actually bet the spread for Oregon to win by over 21.5. So
okay. What'd you think, Edgar?
They're just too physical. This isn't like your Chip Kelly Oregon teams, which might just run them off the field and score 60. But they're a physical football team with Dan Lanning. Those types of teams, JMU and Tulane even, they just can't. The depth isn't there. The physicality, they just won't hold up over the course of 4 quarters, I don't think. Now, they might keep them in the game, make it interesting for a while, but in the end, ultimately, a team like Oregon or Ole Miss, in my opinion, they're just going to wear teams out.
Rob?
Can't agree anymore with Edgar, because James Madison, week in and week out, just not seeing that kind of stuff. And it's going to be so fast when they play Oregon, and they will not. I mean, Dave Bartu said they're giving away tickets in Eugene. He said there's just no interest. He was on yesterday in that game. I'm thinking, God, it's a playoff game, the first time you've hosted one in history. But man, they're stacked, and Lanning will have that team juiced up and ready. And I think Lucas is going to win some money and be able to have a great Christmas.
I want to ask Edgar a question.
Sure.
Do you know if Sumrall is coaching the playoffs, or he's fully committed to Florida?
No, he's
coaching the playoffs. Yeah, we know that.
He's coaching. He did a Zoom with the media there yesterday where he talked about Lagway. He's there full on. He's got a bunch of people in place here. But again, to your point, Lucas, the calendar is really messed up. It's why they moved the portal. And this is an interesting situation because, they moved the portal in October. What was originally scheduled to open today, if you remember, December 16th, which a lot of people think is why Monday was crazy, because a lot of guys' deals might have run out.
Ended, yeah.
Which just didn't occur to me until after the fact, of course.
Right. So what we got? Alabama, Oklahoma, part 2. Just real quick, who you guys got?
I got Alabama. If they don't turn it over, they score. Oklahoma's offense is not very good, but I'm gonna say I'll pick Alabama.
Edgar?
I think Oklahoma's front 7, along with Tech and maybe Miami's, are the best.
All right, Lucas.
Oklahoma's tough.
I gotta go.
I don't know, though. I agree with Rob. I mean, scoring points is tough. John Mateer looked pretty good early on. If he's improving at all in terms of health, he hasn't looked the same ever since he's come back.
Yeah, that hand is big.
His thumb.
Yeah. Anybody give
what's Lucas?
Keep moving. What you got, Lucas? Sorry.
I gotta agree with Rob because Paul Feinbaugh has been reporting a lot this week about Alabama's not certain if he's the coach coming this playoffs. So I think DeBoer is gonna have to win he has to win at least a playoff game to have Alabama fans convinced that he's
get the boo birds off his back. All right, good football coach Kalen DeBoer. I think he's getting a bad rap. Anybody give Tulane a chance in the rematch? The laneless Rebels.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, man.
I picked the upset. This is my reasoning. But I did not. This is before I found out that Charlie Weiss would be returning to Ole Miss to coach the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was assuming that it would be like a completely like no offensive coaches and just like the defensive coaches with I forgot his name, but the defensive coordinator who just took over. Golden. Yeah. So I picked the Tulane upset, to be quite honest.
Rob?
I think Tulane covers because Ole Miss fans and players, I think, way too confident. Yeah, you beat them a long time ago. Both teams have gotten a lot better. And I think Sumrall is the established head coach who's still coaching his team. It's a lot different for Pete Golding being the head coach. The Ole Miss defense is going to struggle because he's not going to be able to pay attention to every play, and it'll bite him on the ass.
Edgar?
I take Ole Miss.
All right.
They're just too these teams are just they're not in the same league, man, in terms of depth and talent. They're just not.
Right.
And I like Group of Five. I think it's all wonderful. I mean, how much better would it be to have Notre Dame playing Oregon? I mean, this whole thing's absurd. I mean, Tulane should get in. You get one in. Maybe they play Oregon. Other than that, the whole thing's a farce. The way they got it set
James
up.
Madison being in is crazy.
I saw a tweet and somebody made a good suggestion. I think TV people would love it. You had a wild card spot for the 11 and 12. You would have 11 to 14 play for the last few spots as like
I love it. Get Vandy and freaking Notre Dame in there, man. Get Diego back in the field, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that way you allow Group 5 teams to prove themselves that they belong in the playoffs with a wild card spot.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Lucas nailed it. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying Tulane's going to win. I'm saying Tulane's going to cover.
No, I know you.
They're going to cover late. Ole Miss is late.
I would not have bet on the upset if I didn't think they were going to cover.
And I'm not trying to go on Coach Sumrall's bad side either because I think they're going to play hard and well. Just let's see when it gets to the fourth quarter. These games are long. Teams wear out. You lean on them, and they finally just break just a bit. They're not going to get their doors blown off like 45-10, I don't think either. I think it's going to be a pretty competitive game. But in the end, they'll probably end up covering the 14.5 or whatever it is.
Well, watching them
Miami. Well, let's move on. One more. We got to get on. We got to roll. We about to get the snatch from the producer. Ooh. Miami at Texas A&M. Miami get exposed, or they ready to roll, Edgar?
Miami's, I think, is a very good team. I think A&M could be a little fraudulent. I like Marcel Reed a lot, but he makes some key mistakes. Cassius Howell is a stud, but is there overall defense? I think Miami's good, man. I mean, yeah, they had a couple of slips. I think it's a very good football team, a really physical team, and it's 11 a.m. in Kyle Field. They're not going to be quite as juiced up by that point for that game.
Lucas?
I don't think people give a Carson Beck. I know Carson Beck gets a lot of hate, but his experience with being in national championship games is going to probably put him over the top. It's just the experience. So,
Rob?
11 o'clock, 12 Eastern favors the visiting team. Home crowd gets there late. They're hungover. They hadn't eaten breakfast or lunch. They don't know what to do. Texas A&M gave up over 200 yards rushing on 4 occasions. You put pressure on Marcel Reed. He struggles. Miami wins. I'm with Edgar. ET is right. The Canes are good. May not like them, but they're good.
They are.
All right, we'll see what happens. Let's talk about Titan MRI and Imaging before we get out of here. Titan MRI and Imaging has 3 locations, 2 in Gainesville with its Park Avenue location, and now at the Millennium Center, 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. Coming soon to Ocala. They now accept insurance through their convenient self-pay options, MRIs, CT scans, X-rays, and ultrasounds, easy scheduling with lots of options, including evenings, larger MRI machines for patient comfort, no ERs, no hospitals. Titan MRI and Imaging, it's your choice. Who we got on the show tomorrow, Rob?
Jake Wimberly, Jackson, Mississippi, the numbers junkie, and a guy named Loren Meadow from Gainesville.
Must be desperate.
Yeah. Vince Ferrara, the sports animal in Knoxville, and of course, executive producer extraordinaire Brendan Martin. And I thank you, everybody, for letting me be on here. I love this panel here tonight. Lucas, you're very smart, man. You think outside the box. You're going to do really well.
All right, Edgar, what we working on?
Thanks for having me, guys, and enjoyed it. I'm working on, I got basketball tomorrow night, but just grinding the portal, man. I'm trying to dig up the Buster Fox stuff. I'm kind of, just riding the portal into the weekend and then hitting the road to see family for a week. I'm looking forward to a little R&R. My boss is trying to make me take some time off, so I'm not going to argue.
Hey, can't beat that. Read him in the Orlando Sentinel. He's our guy, Edgar Thompson. Lucas, appreciate you joining us, man. You guys keep rooting for Lucas, man. Real sharp young guy studying down there up there at Santa Fe College. And
update, I'm applying for the University of Florida this December. So next spring's my last. So hopefully
okay, I get it. Journalism school. I think we know some people, so we might be able to help with that. But definitely appreciate you guys joining me. Ran over a little bit. Appreciate Brendan letting us have a little time. But we'll be back next week. Appreciate you guys joining us. Check out the women's basketball team at 3, men's basketball team at 5. Great chance to see both teams. Get that double header in. Don't forget the book signing tomorrow, 11 to 2 at Conjun Bank in Ocala. Campus USA on 34th. I think that's not used to be the main, right there on 34th, right before you go into the softball, baseball area from 3 to 5. The Golden Season by Franz Beard, Buddy Martin, and Carlton Reese. Appreciate you guys joining us. See you next week, recording live from somewhere. Appreciate
Thank you
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.